Hi guys. I know it took me a while and I'm really sorry, but I'm finally going to put out there my ayahuasca story, what happened. It probably is going to go more than one just because it was a couple of days worth, so that way I can really give you guys all of the info. But so pretty much the leading up to I was a little nervous. I wasn't scared. There's potentials to, being sick or being, the medicine just not reasoning with you correctly and just having a bad reaction and stuff like that, even though it's very minimal, the ones that you hear about that. But I had no fear. I did set my intention, and my intention was to surrender to whatever the medicine wanted to give me. I was willing to receive. So day one, the medicine, first of all, does not taste good. So it's not something that you're going to be like, oh, this is easy, I could do this multiple times. And I knew it wasn't going to taste good, so I made sure and told them all my history of how alcohol reacts to me, how marijuana reacts to me, all those things, so that way they knew how much medicine would be better to give me. So they didn't actually start me at the lowest dosage or the beginning dosage. They started me just a little bit under half a cup. There was people that were having to take multiple cups, which I was very glad I was not. Once they gave me the medicine, I would say that within 10 minutes I was starting to feel warmth in my body, different areas, it moving around my body. What I say kind of reminds me of is Worcestershire sauce. Uh, I'm probably not saying that correctly, but the steak sauce that you put on steaks. It tastes like that to me. It was really kind of salty, it was dark, and it actually had like a grittiness to it, which was very gross. But I, about 10 minutes in, started having a reaction. If you're allowed to, I know my husband's retreat was a little different, so not all retreats will let you do this, but I found out that staying sitting up as long as you possibly can is actually a better way to receive the medicine. And it's funny because everybody I've ever talked to that has done the medicine multiple times has said that you sit with the medicine, which is a cool way to say that you're taking the medicine, or so the first feeling once I took it, I was the first one to actually purge. Purge can mean either puking, sometimes some people will get diarrhea, there's crying purging, there's a bunch of different types of ways you can purge the medicine, but most of the time it's vomiting, especially with Aya. Within the first, I want to say 30 minutes, I was the first one vomiting. And what was going on in my head when this was happening is it was a black and white room with lots of different like shapes and stuff, and the music was techno, but it had like a buzzing to it. I saw snakes like going into like a cycle, and what I noticed is what I felt were the snakes were things that I have said negatively about myself, or how I feel about myself negatively, the way that that's hurt me in my past, and the purging of that's no longer in me. And when those snakes went through, then that's when I would purge. I actually purged for a good amount of time, and I was actually dry heaving at one point. When I was dry heaving, it was pretty intense, but once that happened, it calmed down. I was in a cycle where I kept making decisions, but no matter the decisions I would make, it would always bring me back and like restart me. So I just couldn't figure out how to get out of it, and I kept going and going and going. Eventually, towards the end, I was like, I just need to surrender. I'm surrendering to this, whatever this is. My biggest fear during it, and I kept grounding myself. I had a necklace on that was tiger's eye, and I kept like holding it, and I'm like, I'm still here, I'm still in this body. But I would talk and would actually be like, I have a daughter, her name is Michaela, like almost reminding myself who I was. Like I felt like I was leaving my body and I wasn't here anymore, and I wasn't a part of this earth life. I was somewhere else, but it was a cycle, and I just couldn't figure out how to get out. Once I said I'm surrendering, and I just laid down like I was going to sleep, and I felt like this warmth go over me, I was out of it. And then from there it was just bliss. It was beautiful. Like, it makes me want to cry just thinking about it, how amazingly beautiful everything was. I saw code. It looks like it covers all of us. Every single thing, everything has life in it, and it's all made out of unconditional love. So much love. There's so much love in this world. It's just, we forget that we are all made of love. And so with all the love and everything that was going on, I was actually, my body was shaking, and it was like trembling, and my hands were doing lots of crazy things. And I actually reverted to Spanish, which I don't speak Spanish very often other than to my family. But I just kept saying that I loved myself. I love you. I love this. I loved every feeling. I was shaking. If I had sweatpants on, so they had string, and I was just touching the string, and it felt amazing. It just felt almost orgasmic, like the feeling of love that I had for myself, for everything, and the knowing that I was love, like I am love. So that was part of that bliss. Once that kind of ended, I did get a message, and my message was that I am a frequency of love, and it is my job to give love, and pretty much like just went ahead and just let it, kind of out of me. After I got out of it, like I kind of just held space for everybody that was still having a hard time and stuff, and kind of sending them love. And so that was day one of Aya, and it was actually fairly not bad for what other people had gone through. I was actually very much impressed that it wasn't as much puking or anything like that I thought it would be. At one point I thought I had puked all over myself. Like I thought I puked in my hands and my clothes and everything. And when I got out of it and I was like picking everything up, I was like, everything's clean, there's nothing. So like, but I do remember when that was happening, I was being told that I'm loved, that no matter what, I'm loved, all in Spanish, but in pretty much that no matter if I threw up all over myself, if I'm disgusting or whatever, I'm still loved. Like just giving me that reassurance that I am loved. But yeah, so that was day one, and shortly I will do day two.